BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. The Final Four is upon us, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and UFC, and even the Kentucky Derby and NFL season futures are ready for you to bet. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. Enjoy the show. Folks, it's April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. And we're going to be talking serious flyers all episode. No, that's the April Fool's joke. I didn't have it in. I don't have the mental capacity to do a full April Fool's joke anymore. I'm getting too old for this shit. But I did at least want to make reference to the day of wonder and majesty that it is today. I saw very few fake headlines today, and I appreciate that because sometimes the fake headlines on April Fool's Day get completely out of hand.
I actually kind of hate April Fool's Day because
it's bullshit. It sucks.
I really don't like April Fool's Day because like most of the time these like every once in a while I'll see a good like April Fool's prank, but you can do a prank at any time. You don't need to do it on April Fool's Day. That's true. That's the thing about it. And so like people save it like and then they do it and it's like, dude, a lot of times April Fool's pranks aren't good. They're not funny. And they're just kind of lame. And like, I don't know, man. I'm not an April Fool's Day appreciator. I'll just put it that way.
No, it's ridiculous. Like it kind of, I think before the internet, like you could have some mild fun with it. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much it, right? But then the internet has turned April Fool's Day into just this insufferable barrage of fake news and fake headlines and blah, blah, blah. It's just like exhausting anymore. So it's just like, all right, we get it. Shut up.
Yeah, no, It's just not my thing anymore. Like, and honestly, I don't know have you ever pulled an April Fool's Day prank on somebody?
I don't know. I'm not much of a Jim Halpert in that regard. Not much of a pranksman. I don't host a prank show or anything like that. But I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not really much of a prankster in my time.
Me neither. I've never really done it. And so maybe that's why we're just not silly little guys.
We're not, it's funny because we are mischievous, but we're not like mischievous like that.
Yeah. It's a different form of chaos.
It is a different form of chaos. And we love chaos. You know, we are chaotic people. I heard you got chaotic at karaoke the other night with a couple of the BSH folks.
Baby. All right. So we need to make this a thing in the off season. At some point in the off season, we need to have Broad Street Hockey, not even a party, just we're going to pick a date and we're going to be like, all right, Sunday, July, whatever day, we're going to Bob and Barbara's for karaoke night. And that's what we're doing. Be there, BSH community. And we just need to get everybody to go because, dude, what a night. Bob and Barbara's, what a place.
It is a magical place with every PBR sign known to man.
It's incredible. And we did, it was me, it was Joe, it was Gilbs, it was everybody, like, well, not everybody obviously, but like, the biggest karaoke people in Broad Street Hockey, we were there. Morgan O'Halloran was there.
Ah, Morgan. I miss Morgan.
Like, we were, we crushed it. We crushed it with the songs. I sang 3.
What'd you sing?
So the first song I did, and it was my first time performing this song in karaoke, and it fucking killed. Alanis Morissette, Ironic.
I saw some video of that, yeah.
That's now a regular rotation. Like, that is now in the rotation for me.
Don't you think?
Don't you think, Steve? It's like rain on your wedding day. So that's now in the rotation. And then I also did About Damn Time by Lizzo. And then
okay.
And
was not expecting that to be your second song.
That song goes hard as fuck. That song rocks. And then my last one was Master Exploder, which that's the second time I've done that song in like a week.
Really?
I've done karaoke twice in the last
Is that Tenacious D? Is that the D?
It is in fact the D. Yeah.
There you go. Channeling your inner Jack Black, which typically that's more of my thing as a heavyset bearded man.
Listen, man, if you want to be a good entertainer, just be Jack Black. Just pretend to be Jack Black, and then people are gonna love you. So just go crazy. Just have a good time.
Go nuts. Yeah. Well, respect on pulling out the Tenacious D there. Yeah, I will have to make it out. It's been too long since I've done some proper karaoke. Right now, I have very little time and mental capacity for a lot of stuff. So, and Sunday nights, I'm also old on top of that. So,
dude. So, I mean, that's the one thing. I wish that Bob and Barbara's did it on like a Saturday or Friday.
Well,
honestly, even Thursdays, because Thursdays are basically the weekend.
Oh, Quigs, I got some places for you on Fridays and Saturdays. We can go.
Well, wait, isn't Fergie's? Isn't that open on Saturdays?
Well, the Adobe is what I was thinking of, which used to be on Passyunk, but now is in Queen Village.
Now, do they have how is it? What's the karaoke?
I haven't been to the new one, but at the old spot, they had a full stage and like a DJ and everything. So that was the one where I did it right after the wedding proposal. I told you that story before, right?
Yes, that's right. Where
the guy did he started with a rap song and then he went into the friggin' song from the wedding singer and said, "Babe, I know your favorite actor is Adam Sandler." So, and then he proposed to her. And I love the Adobe, but the Adobe is at least I don't know what the new location's like, but the old location, and I say new, it's been there for years at this point, but the old location was not quite a dive, but divey elements, which I know Bob and Barbara's is a kindred spirit in that element.
Oh yeah.
In that regard, rather. But yeah, it's a fun time. There's a stage, it's good vibes. It's a great spot. So hopefully the newer location is like that. But yeah, that's a Friday and Saturday spot. So we can do that sometime.
That has to happen because if I have the ability to, if I can stay up late and do karaoke all night, by God, I'll do it, Steve. Nothing will stop.
I would routinely get home when I would do this 1 or 2 in the morning. So it would be a late night affair.
Monday or Sunday night, I didn't get home till 1:30 a.m. I had to be up at 6 the next day. Listen, I got to do what I got to do. I got to get my priorities straight, and the priority will always be karaoke. So
the priority is always rocking the house.
Always got to rock the house. So crushed it at karaoke. Joe was great. Morgan was great. They both sang. So it was a great night. We had a lot of fun. Love a good cash only karaoke bar.
Oh, hell yeah. There we go. Love that. You can't turn it off. And apparently the Philadelphia Flyers can't turn it off either because their coach was fired, but the team's playing better than ever this season. Now, 3 straight wins after John Tortorella was fired by the Flyers. And granted, bad teams, right? Mm-hmm. Mid to bad teams because Montreal's pretty good, but they're mediocre. Buffalo is a bad team. And the Nashville Predators are a horrible team. So, but still, this is tank watch, right? The Flyers were there. A top 5 pick was within their grasp. And all of a sudden, things are very hairy. I'm looking at these standings right now. If we're looking at points percentage, right? Sharks and the Blackhawks, 1 and 2 as far as the worst teams go. Then the Preds, easily the Preds. But then it gets hairy. The Kraken, the Bruins, the Sabres, and then the Flyers. I don't like this.
Steve, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people have been tracking, tank watch, how high are the Flyers going to pick in the draft? I think we need to stop paying attention to tank watch and start preparing ourselves, Steve, for Yoff watch because the Philadelphia Flyers are only 6 points out of a playoff spot, Steve. And boy, oh boy, are they playing some real good hockey. I say that after they played a horrendous game against the Nashville Predators.
They should have lost that Predators game. Like,
that was not a good game.
No, they were outshot by the Predators. They're like, they have like 80-year-old Steven Stamkos, 70-year-old Ryan O'Reilly. I think they're probably the same age. And like a bunch of like guys, like a bunch of dudes. They don't even have their best player in there. And they outshot the Flyers by a bunch last night.
It was like, in that last night's game was a testament to how bad the Predators are. Like, the Flyers were not good in that game. They won, but they were awful. And the Predators were a better team than the Flyers, but they are also awful. And so they just couldn't pull out a win because they're an incompetent hockey team. But they, like, it's Steve. It doesn't really matter because this is a new, we're entering a new era of the new era of orange.
The newest era of orange.
We're entering the newest era of orange. And listen, man, they're 3-0.
It's the Eras Tour, and we're all looking to just get away from it right now. They are 3-0. They're 3-0. I'm very happy for Brad Shaw, because friend of the show, Brad Shaw, because Brad Shaw is a refreshing change of pace. Just hearing about the locker room interactions from the reporters with him versus Tortorella. You know, Tortorella had a surly reputation, and from everything it sounds like Torts really like was getting extra tortsy towards the end there, which I think contributed to him getting fired. Like, it just sounds like he was getting crankier, you know, and just like a little bit snippier with everybody, and just, you never go full torts, right? You never go full torts.
Yeah, I think he was getting tired of the losing. I think he was getting tired of the midness of the Flyers, and he's like, I think we talked about this last week. Like, he's not used to being on a team like this. He's not used to coaching a team that's not at least competing for a playoff spot. And like the Flyers, like, you know, last season they were looking real good, and then trade deadline comes, there goes Sean Walker. And then that kind of tanks their season, right? And then this season, you know, they weren't as good as last year. They were pretty, you know, consistently far below average for this entire season. But, you know, trade deadline comes, Scott Laughton's gone. You know, Andrei Kuzmenko's gone. You know, Jesus, what's his name? Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson's gone.
I forgot about Big Johnson.
Yeah, and I know like Eric Johnson wasn't like, you know, an important player, but like locker room wise, he kind of was. And so like they sold off all these guys, and you know, Torts is looking like, what do I have to work with here? And then it just seems like there was some agitation on both sides, and you know, you can't be surprised that it ended the way it did.
I'm still a little surprised that it ended the way it did. That it ended with him getting fired, you know, a few weeks before the end of the season. I'm wondering if he can come back right now. I'm wondering if he can come and coach the Flyers for the rest of the season, because like they're doing too good right now. And again, they didn't play well in the Nashville game, but Fedotov played his best game in a month. And
all right, so like, but the thing with Fedotov though is like, yes, it was his best game in a long time, but like he still is miserable to watch.
Oh,
like,
I mean, the breakdancing is just awful,
dude. And our like seconds into the game, he like face planted into the end, but like he went back to like play a puck. He literally like face planted into the boards, and we're like someone was like I heard laughter throughout the arena, and I'm like, oh my god, I was just ready for another classic Ivan Fedotov game, and then he statistically played pretty well. So, you know, numbers wise, it was good, but like, it's one of those things where it's like visually, it's not better.
It looks bad, and it is bad. Yeah. And well, I guess the biggest problem right now for the Flyers, as far as winning goes, is the best thing about the Flyers, and that's Matvei Michkov. I mean, our boy Matvei is on fire right now. He is just crushing it. Another 2-point night from Matvei Michkov. He's probably still not going to win the Calder, but he's put himself back in the talk. Like he's put himself back in the race, at least like as far as the conversation goes. And it's cool to see, but it's also like a little frustrating as far as the tank goes. But ultimately, I like, and I would like to talk about some of the guys in the top 10 tonight. Looking at the guys in the top 10, looking at the top end talent available in this draft, you don't have many guys that you would say have a higher ceiling than Mishkov. You might say nobody has a higher ceiling than Mishkov. As far as I'm concerned, Mishkov is the guy to build this franchise around.
Yes.
Obviously, you want pieces, specifically a center that can go with him. But like the fact that they're not tanking right now is a little frustrating. But like they have Mishkov, so like it's okay. I'm not like losing sleep over them winning these games instead of losing, because the guy is here and he friggin' rocks, man. Seeing him unleashed in these past few games has been so cool. He really is like, you keep saying he's the real deal, but I need somebody to pinch me because it doesn't feel real. Like that friggin' shot he made, I think Jordan Hall took video of this, the practice shot he made the other day where he did the between the legs shot move, like, oh, and just his instincts, everything he's doing out there, he is just firing on all cylinders, and it's friggin' awesome.
Dude, how about that one-handed catch for a breakaway against Nashville last
He almost had it. Oh, I'm so mad he didn't get that goal.
If he scores that goal, that is, I mean, dude, he literally looked like Devontae Smith catching that puck. And like he actually made a hilarious comment after the game. Someone asked him, what were you thinking with that puck in the air? And he basically, he said through a translator, he was like, my eyes got a little lost in the light. And then, I was a little blinded, and, if it wasn't for the lights, I probably would have scored unless the net was empty.
Unless the net was empty.
Exactly. So like, it's just, he's got a good sense of, like, we're starting to like, that was my first time seeing him, like, kind of expressing his sense of humor. Like, he's fucking funny. Like, it makes me wonder, like, what kind of shit he's saying to other, like, maybe now we're starting to get an idea of like the type of shit he says to other players on the team. And that's why they get pissed off so much. Cause it seems like he's funny as hell.
He's a star, man. He is an absolute star. And I am so damn excited to see how he grows from here, to see what kind of a player he blossoms into, because I think he really could end up being like one of the top tickets in the NHL, like a guy people will drop everything to watch, because like that's like the things we have seen what he's capable of this season, and he has made this team so much more fun. The nights where he's on, I feel a joy watching hockey that I don't think I felt since Claude Giroux was here. And even then, at the end of his time here, it was pretty miserable. But like those prime year Claude Giroux, like that year he scored 100+ points and should have won the Hart and didn't. He was robbed. I still stand by that. He really, like, he brings a joy to this game that we've been sorely missing.
Yeah. I mean, don't look now, but he's on a 6-game point streak. He's absolutely crushing it.
Is it 3 straight games with multiple points too?
3 straight multi-point games. And then he also has multi-point games in 4 of his last 5. Woo! So like he's going insane. He's absolutely playing out of his mind. But Steve, like, just talking about Mishkov and how good he is. And now that he's like more comfortable with the Flyers, he's starting to show off his personality a little bit more. You know what I want this so bad. And listen, this is a pie in the sky situation. Like this is, absolute, everything, rainbows and butterflies type world. I would love to see Nikita Grabenkin just really pan out and then form like this dynamic, partnership on a line with Matvei Michkov, because 2 Russian dudes, and Grabenkin, you can tell already has an infectious personality, and we're starting to see more of Mishkov's infectious personality. Like I just think it would be fun to see them together. So
Grabenkin is having a hell of a start to his Phantoms tenure, and it's a shame that Torts had to waste all those call-ups because I'd love to see him up with the big club right now. Grabenkin's now got 5 points in 6 games with the Phantoms, 3 goals, 2 assists. He's been a force on the power play for them, eating up that crease space. That's the thing we've been craving, my friend. We've been craving a guy to screen that damn goalie, a big body in front, and he seems to be excellent at it so far.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, this is exactly what the Flyers have been missing, and it's good that that's at least in the system now. Is it going to translate to the NHL? I don't know. We gotta find out. But pretty exciting stuff to see Nikita Grabenkin playing well in the AHL. So
just got to keep collecting these Russians. You know, this is my pet theory. This is how you end the curse of the bullies, is by bringing in, because the bullies chase the Russian team off the ice, right?
Yes.
With their filthy play. And Bob Clark, of course, infamous for some of the dirty plays he put in on Russian players. So maybe that's how you solve this little curse, is embrace the Russia of it all and bring in these guys. And then, well, I don't know, when a certain big free agent becomes available on the market, perhaps, you know, somebody with a nickname like the Thrill or something like that, maybe you swoop in and get him, and who knows what happens? Maybe just some exciting damn hockey, and we'll just leave it at that.
That would be sick. That would be awesome. I would love that. So listen, I mean, I'm thinking maybe we should have, like, whether it's Kirill, listen, man, like maybe it could be a Marco. I know he's not Kirill.
We need centers, though. Kirill ain't a center.
My absolute dream is Marco Rossi on the Flyers. Like, he is. I've been a freak about Marco Rossi for so long. So that'd be awesome.
But, hey, they want 2 first-round picks. We got them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, it would be amazing. So we can do it. The Flyers got a lot of those picks. But
I feel really good right now as far as, you know, the hands at the wheel, because I think Briere is very, very cognizant. And everything he said in the media, he has expressed that he knows what this team needs. He expressed that they know they need centers up top. Like, that's the biggest thing. And he knows that, like, we were talking about Jet last week and how you wanted some of the other fans, not me, but some of the other fans, to kind of temper their expectations for Jet. And I think Briere and Jonesy are really aware of what they have with Jet Luchenko, where you have a middle 6 center, most likely, you know, hopefully a second line guy, could be a third line guy. You need those guys in the lineup, though. But I think they know he's not their 1C. They still need to go fishing for that, whether it's the top of the draft this year or a Marco Rossi or something. And Marco Rossi might just be a part of the puzzle if they get him too. I think they're not going to stop at that. They know, and look, the cap's going up. Their ownership is one of the biggest corporations in the planet. You know, they got money, and if they have the space to spend it, they're going to spend it. So it's a matter of how wisely you spend it. That's the entire point of the salary cap, right? But I feel good that we have guys at the helm that know what this franchise needs for the modern NHL.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like, listen, like, I know that there's frustration surrounding the Flyers right now. I know that people are mad that the Flyers aren't just straight up, you know, throwing every single game to get a higher draft pick. I understand that. But
which they would never do, by the way. Like,
no, they'll never. And that's the thing. Like, people are mad. Like, they're supposed to be losing. And it's just like, they're never going to do that. It's a hockey team. No hockey team is going to come out and be like, all right, dude, we're going to, like, score 10 goals in our own net tonight. Like, we're going to just fucking wind up and we're going to just throw it in on Fedota. He's going to be playing against 10 skaters. That's what's going to be happening.
You would have to healthy scratch Matvei Mishkov right now to guarantee a loss. That's the only way it's going to happen right now, because Mishkov is a friggin' player, man. He is a competitor. He ain't losing on purpose. He would none of these guys would lose on purpose, right? But the teams that are tanking, right, like Chicago, for instance, they surrounded Bedard with the worst pile of bullshit that you could possibly surround a star player on the rise with. They were just like, let's get all these washed up scrubs and throw them in with Bedard and that'll work out. Like, of course they're the second worst team in the league. They surrounded them with crap. And the thing about the Flyers is like, yeah, Mishkov is playing great. They also have TK, who's playing, he's having the best season of his career. Couturier's still, he's not elite anymore. Couturier's got a great hockey mind. And they've got solid depth players throughout the lineup, like they have talent. They're a good team, but like they're not a good team, but you know what I mean? But they've got good pieces.
Yeah, no, they have good pieces. There's still a lot of work to be done though. And like, it's just, listen, like, no, like I said, no one is going to be throwing a game like the fans want them to. And like we've said this a bunch of times, this season is not about the Flyers winning. This season is not about the Flyers losing. This season is about Matvei Mishkov, and that is it. That is the entire theme of the entire season, is him developing and playing well. And we're seeing it. And that's the most important thing. So I think, win or lose, I think right now that is the key, is just knowing that he's playing well, he's developing, and he's gaining confidence, and he's feeling more comfortable in what's an insane situation. Imagine being 20 and in his shoes, like moving to a country where you don't know any of the language. And then playing for a new team, like learning a new teammates, like in a new league with more games. Like it's crazy that he's playing this well right now. He's 20. Steve, he's insane.
He's insane, and he just shows skills. I mean, I'm just over the moon about him. I couldn't be happier about how he's playing. And the thing is, like, you're not going to tank if he's playing this well, and if they get competent goaltending on a given night. That's the thing, is like, when Sam Erson's actually okay, and when Ivan Fedotov's not Mr. Swiss cheese, like, they actually have a chance of winning games. The goaltending has been that piss poor, though, for most of the season, that, like, they haven't had a chance. So I don't know if that's something Brad Shaw's doing or what. That might have an effect, but between Mishkov's play, the fact that he's doing well with Konechny and Couturier, and they've gotten competent goaltending over the past few games, they've also played bad teams. We can't reiterate this enough. Most of the teams they played are either mid or bad in the past 3 games.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, who do we got coming up? Let's see. I'm pulling that up. Like, I know that next up we have the Montreal Canadiens. That's a road game. It's in Montreal. So that's it's going to be, like, Montreal's all right. So it's not going to be a cakewalk, but
it's a tough environment to play in, though. I mean, Montreal is one of the craziest houses in the entire league. And the other thing to note about Nashville last night is, like, not only are they bad, but their road record is atrocious. They've got the third least road wins in the season. They have 9 road wins, which is just insane.
And so, after Montreal, the rest of the season isn't exactly, a murderer's row of opponents either. Like, after Montreal, you got the Rangers in New York, so it's at MSG. So that's, something to consider. But then after that, you got your home against the Islanders, and they're horrible. Then you got the Senators. They're probably the best team left.
Oh, but the Islanders know how to shut down the Flyers. So
Of course they do. But like,
you do have some tankability left, but
yeah. But I mean, let's not act like the Islanders are some incredible team here.
No.
Then you got the Senators, who are probably the best team that the Flyers have left on their schedule. Then you got the Blue Jackets at home. That's their home finale, assuming they don't make the playoffs, Steve. And then their potential regular season finale is on the road against the Sabres. If you want to talk about a must-lose game, my goodness, that's the one,
You would think that was the one, but like, they just whooped the Sabres. I don't know. The Sabres are so weird. Like, they've been on fire over the past 10. They've won, they're 6-4 over their last 10. One of those 4 somehow is the Flyers, though. Go figure on that front. The Blue Jackets, it's funny. I haven't actually looked at the good part of the standings lately. I've only been looking at the bad part of the standings at the bottom. So I'm pulling it up right now just to see where the wild card is at, because I hadn't even considered it lately. So right now it's the Senators by a mile, And then the Canadiens. The Senators have 84 points. Canadiens have 77. The Rangers have 77. The Blue Jackets have 75. And then the Red Wings and Islanders have 74. So that's your race right there.
How have the Flyers played like so many more games than like everyone else?
I don't know. It really baffles me. The Flyers have 76 games. Some teams have 73 at this point.
Some teams have 72. Like, I'm looking around and I'm like, how did that happen? Like, who were they playing in those other few games? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's almost like the schedule makers hate the Flyers.
Oh boy, do they hate the Flyers. Yeah, they gave the Flyers this random ass like 5-day break now. So for whatever reason, but regardless. So, and that's another thing to consider, the Flyers right now in the standings. Yeah. I mean, they're 2 points up on Boston. They're 3 points up on Buffalo, but they also have 3 games in hand over Buffalo, and they have 2 games in hand over Boston. They have excuse me, flip that. You know what I was trying to say. But like, no team in the NHL has played more games than the Flyers. So like at this point, teams are only playing catch up now. So, it's possible that teams can catch up to them, and then boom, next thing you know, Flyers have the worst record in the Eastern Conference. So
we're hoping, man. I need this to happen because the thing is, the top of this draft, I don't think there's anybody quite as good as Mishkov, right? But there's some very good talent at the top of this draft. And I've been wanting to talk about this. I haven't gotten a chance yet, but let's talk about some of the guys that are available at the top of the draft that's coming up. I have a list with some of the top 10 guys. Jason Bukala at Sportsnet had assembled a list. I also got some stuff from Craig Button here, but I'm familiarizing myself with a lot of these guys. And I figure we could all go on this journey together and familiarize ourselves with these draft picks. Because I know there's guys like some of the people in BSH are just like, they are plugged in on this. And I'm just like, duh, draft? I usually cram like a month before the draft. So it'll be nice to get out in front of it for once.
Yeah, we're coming out. Next thing, we're going to blink and it's going to be the draft. So, it's going to be here before you know it. So we might as well do our homework now, Steve.
We might as well do our homework. So the first guy on the list here, I think this is pretty much universally like agreed to be like a top 2 pick right here. And that's Matthew Schaefer, who's a defenseman from the Erie Otters. He's 6'1", 183. He's supposed to be fantastic, just a top-notch defenseman. One of those guys who he's really fast, plays the offensive game really well. What have you heard anything about Schaefer beyond like, the usual, like he's supposed to be just great?
Pretty much that. Like, I'll be honest, I haven't like dove too deep into draft prospects yet. I'm just, at this point, I want to end the season and all that before I get too into that. But I do know that he's, right now it appears he's like the consensus number 1 overall pick, but it's not like it's a runaway, like there are some other guys right there who are kind of, nipping at his heels. So
the next guy I'm going to mention. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No. From what I understand, he's a very, very good defenseman, like a possible number 1 defenseman one day. So,
well, the next guy I wanted to mention is the guy who I've heard some great stuff about, and he could go in the top 3. He should go in the top 3 from what I've heard. But I think a lot of people are starting to call him number 2. Michael Misa, who's with the Saginaw Spirit currently, and has just scored a shit ton of points. Like I've heard really, really good things about him, and I've heard he's got a very high ceiling.
I do wonder if he could go number 1, Michael Misa, because he's been absolutely balling out this season. I truly, truly wonder if that could happen, especially if like a center needy team gets the first overall pick, because, listen, like you can never have too many defensemen. We know that, but like we're something we also know is how difficult it is to find a top line number 1 center. Is Michael Misa going to be a number 1 center one day? I don't know that, but he sure has the makings of being quite a talented, top 6 guy. So to me, if I'm not an NHL GM, and the reason why I'm not is, well, there's a lot of reasons why I'm not, but one of them is the fact that, if it were down to me, I would probably take Misa over Schaefer, just given the situation that the Flyers are in. Build up the center of the ice. I think they need to do that. And, part of me, would prefer if let's pretend the Flyers win the lottery. Okay. I would almost prefer them get the second pick instead of the first pick, because then with the first pick, it's going to be kind of like, what do you do here? Like you're leaving the Flyers to make a decision. Like, are we going defenseman or are we going center? And no matter what they do, people are going to complain and whine and moan about it. And so if you get the second pick, it's like, okay, well, let's see what happens with the first. If someone takes Schaefer first, all right, cool, we'll take Misa. If someone takes Misa first, all right, cool, we'll take Schaefer. But I think it would be nice to have the Flyers not have options, because then the fans will shut up, basically. So,
oh, Quigley, nobody shuts this fan base up. And also, I hate to remind you of this, but the last time we thought the Flyers didn't have an option in the very top of the draft, his name was Nolan Patrick.
Yep. And yes, this is true. But it makes you wonder, like, I believe in Schaefer, in like Misa or Schaefer more than Nolan Patrick. I'll put it that way.
Well, nobody believes in Nolan Patrick now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Just a figment of our imagination.
Yeah. He's on Ellis Island. So,
man, he's the founder of Ellis Island. I think it actually should be Patrick's Place instead of Ellis Island.
Right.
But, yeah. I hear you on that front, but at this point we got to trust that the front office has like picked their guy and they are going to, I guess roll with whoever they think is best, but it does seem like a tough decision. And here are some of the other names that are up there. James Higgins is one of the centers list. He's a center, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But he doesn't have, he's a little bit shorter. He doesn't quite have the size, even though like there's a foot difference between him and, or 2 foot difference between, or 2 inch rather, 2 foot. That's insane. Yeah. Hey guys, it's me. And then James Higgins just like, hey guys, I'm ready for center. Yeah. No, Higgins is 5'10". Misa's listed at 6 foot. But, Higgins sounds like he's really, really good. I mean, the report I'm looking at says elite offensive upside, above average skater. So there's some great stuff with Higgins, but they already have Luchenko, who you would consider definitely an undersized center. So would this franchise want another undersized center, I guess, is a big question.
Well, I think what's interesting to me is that, about a year ago, Higgins was considered he was a consensus number 1 overall pick. Like people considered Higgins to be like kind of the crown jewel of this draft, and things have changed this season. But I still believe in Higgins. I still think Higgins can be good. Listen, man, size is not the most important thing. Like it's the motion of the ocean, as we all know. But like what are you going to say, Steve?
I was just going to say, it's all about how you use it.
It's all about how you use it. That's right. That's very true. And so, and I can't say that I've watched a ton of James Higgins in depth throughout the season. But just because someone isn't big doesn't mean that they can't be an effective hockey player. So I'm not going to knock somebody on their size. If you can play, you can play. And if the Flyers believe, let's pretend they get the 3rd overall pick. If they, I guess it would be more likely that they'd get the 4th. I don't think they can really get the 3rd at this point. But, if they believe in James Higgins, go for it. I don't think he's a bad option. I feel like he's kind of slipped a little bit because of his size, and I wouldn't necessarily. To me, size is not the most valid reasons to see someone drop so dramatically.
Well, this is an interesting part with the Briere-Jonesy dynamic as the decision makers up there. Is Keith Jones seems to be a bit more of a size guy, is a big fan of Rasmus Ristolainen and everything. And Briere acknowledges it, but Briere also was a small player who really made the best of it in the NHL. He knows how valuable being a smaller forward can be.
This is true. Yeah. And so, listen, like, and I like that. Like, I want to have a mix. I don't want the team to be nothing but huge guys, like unless half of those huge guys can also skate like McDavid. Sure. That's fine. But like, that typically is not part of the skill set for larger dudes. So like, I would like to see a good blend. Like, let's get some smaller, speedier guys and then get some larger, stronger, like more physical guys. Like, I think that's a normal makeup of a hockey team. But like you could argue, like you looking at the Flyers right now, like they do have a lot of those smaller dudes. You got Konechny, you got Mishkov, you got Bobby Brink, you got Jamie Drysdale, you got, I mean, Cam York isn't exactly very big. So you do have a lot of Emil Andre, like there's a lot of smaller guys on the team. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if you can play. You just got to find the guys who play.
Just a team of short kings.
That, what would be great is if the LA Kings just started drafting nothing but short guys.
I would love to see the LA Short Kings. Let's make it happen.
I think that would be fun.
Let's talk to their management. So that brings us then, if we're talking about size, let's go talk about the next guy up on this list. Porter Martone, who is 6'2". I'm looking at the Craig Button list. It has 6'2 3/4, which is like really precise. Like, what are they getting a pencil and marking these guys on like the frame of a door? What's going on here? But 208, so some big size, but he is a winger, right wing. You need talent at the top of the lineup, so I'm not necessarily opposed to that. But yeah, I think we all really, really, really want a center.
That would be ideal. I think that's the whole point of, honestly, I really think that the Flyers are going into this offseason with one goal, and that's adding center depth, whether that's through free agency, whether that's through trades or through the draft. And I think that is just priority number one, as it should be, because like we've seen how just dreadful things can be when you don't have center depth. So listen, man, like whether he's a winger or center, like, I certainly think they're going to be prioritizing players who are like for sure centers. But I mean, he's a good player too, and he does have that size. So that's something that they'll be looking at.
So the next one up that I'm seeing on the list here is Anton Frandel. Well, it lists Caleb Denoye, but I kind of want to get back to the brother of a player that's already on the Flyers before I get to that. But Anton Frandel is listed here. He's 6 foot 196, and Frandel, I mean, hey, he's actually Craig Button's list has him as 6'1", 198. This is hilarious, just seeing the differences between the two. But Frandel is listed as center, so definitely relevant to what we're looking for.
And he's a good European boy.
Oh, love yeah,
love the European.
Timo can vouch for him.
Sweden, baby.
He's Swedish, though. He's not Finnish.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So he probably hates his guts.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like.
Oh, wait. Is Risto? Risto's Swedish, right?
He's Finnish.
He's Finnish. God damn it. Why do I think all the Finns are Swedish? The European Flypaniacs are turned off right now.
If you have a last name that has like Einen in it, like AIN, normally that means you're like probably Finnish if that's in there.
Is that right? Okay, I'm learning something right now.
Like Rasmus Ristolainen.
The more you know.
Yeah. And then
Timonen.
Teuvo Teravainen. Patrick Laine. Like all those guys are Finnish.
Oh wow.
So
how about that?
Fun little thing to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's another good player. And like, listen, we're getting to the point where like these are players that I don't know very well, so I'm not going
to. Well, we got to start because we're almost done this season. We're hitting the tail end. Like
we're getting there. Yeah,
we got a long break this week, my friend. Like there's a Flyers game Monday, and there's not another one until the weekend. So
yeah.
But the thing is, there's less than 2 handfuls of games left at this point. So the draft is something we need to start. I want this whole exercise to start drilling these names into your mind because this is a big draft for the Flyers.
Well, actually, which way do we want to? Are we going to talk about the brother of a current Flyer / Phantom, or are we going to talk about the next guy?
Let's talk about the big boy, and then let's talk about the brother.
Okay. So which big boy?
Let's talk about McQueen. Because this is one that I've heard is, I know I'm kind of jumping all. Craig Button's got me thrown off, but I want to talk about Roger McQueen because I've heard some apprehension to this player, and I think a lot of GMs are going to look at that size and say, "Oh man, sign me up for that." Roger McQueen is 6'5", 197. He is a tall man right there. But I have heard some apprehension to McQueen, and he's kind of all over the place with the opinion. So like Craig Button's got him listed. I think Craig Button likes the size. He's got him listed at 5. But if we look over at this list that I saw from Sportsnet, is he even up there? Where the hell is he?
Well, something to also keep in mind with Roger McQueen, he is one of the older prospects in this draft. He's already 18. He'll turn 19 in October. So he's going to be a little bit older. But he is a large boy. And also I'll say this, is that not like a classic hockey name? Like Roger
Roger McQueen, like you can see that on the back of a jersey.
Yeah. Personally, just, I'm not huge on Roger McQueen. But people are going to fall in love with his size, and I wouldn't be even slightly surprised if the Flyers are one of those teams. But that being said, I think the Flyers are going to be drafting a little too. I don't know. I don't think he'll.
It doesn't feel like a Flyers pick.
What was that?
It doesn't feel like a Flyers pick to me.
Yeah, and I think they'll be picking earlier than where he should, unless they really reach for him, which I guess is a possibility. You could argue they did that with Jetlichenko, but I don't know. I'm not really sold on Roger McQueen for the Flyers, where they're going to be picking probably in like the top 6. So,
well, this is fascinating because like Button's got him at 5, right? But then the Scouts analysis article from Bacala has him not even listed on there. So,
exactly. Yeah,
it's just like, but that's a name you're going to hear a lot. So I did want to mention him because that size is going to entice people. So you are going to hear that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I think he's going to be a very divisive prospect because it's not like he's had incredible production in the WHL either. Like he's playing well. He has 20 points, 17 games. Like that's good. Not jumping off the page at all. So, you'd like to see more production out of a guy who's an older player for his league, or for this age group, I should say. And with that size, I'm just not blown away. So, well,
you're hoping for dominance if that's the case. Like,
yeah,
when you're just looking at Misa's stats, for instance, like Misa's got 134 points in 65 games played this year. Like that's why people are pumped for Misa.
Yeah, and guess what? Not a very big guy. So
not a very big guy. Oh,
yeah, he's 6 feet tall. He's fine.
Right now, just based on everything I've heard early, like Misa seems like the guy that you want at the top if you can get him. But Schaefer is nothing to sneeze at. Schaefer's supposed to be awesome.
To me, it's like 3 guys. Like, and some people like Porter Martone more than like Hagens. To me, I like Hagens, Misa, and Schaefer. To me, it's like a kind of like a 3-person mix, and more Martone. I know a lot of people wouldn't say it's a 4-person thing. Sure, throw him in there as well. But the ones I like the most are Schaefer, Hagens, and Misa.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk about the brother of a Flyers prospect. So we all know Denoyer the Destroyer, Elliot Desnoyers. Well, his brother is in this draft, and he's supposed to be a top 10 pick. It might even be a top 5 pick. Caleb Desnoyers, 6'1", 178 from the Moncton Wildcats. Go Wildcats! Who are we going to beat? The Wildcats. And yeah, what do you know anything about the other Desnoyers?
I haven't done a ton of film study on these guys, but he's certainly producing well. I mean, he had
84 points in 56 games is pretty nice.
Yeah, 4 points in 2 playoff games so far. So he's performing well. That's certainly better production than we saw from Elliot Desnoyers when he was this age. So yeah, I mean that's good. Still, I'm not totally blown away with him. But who's to say? There's a lot of
to say.
There's listen, man. We know that with the draft, a lot of it is luck and just a lot of it is random and just hitting lottery tickets. And so he might be the next Gretzky. Truly, none of us know. So
for sure. But hey, again, we got to start to know these names here. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the other ones, just real rapid fire. Let me know if any of these guys sticks out to you, because the Flyers could pick pretty much anywhere from like 4 to 10, unless they luck out in the lottery and end up with top 3. But the likelihood is somewhere in that 4 to 10 range right now. So some of the other names up there right now, we've got Anton Frondel, we've got Victor Eklund, Carter Bear, Jackson Smith, Radim Murtka. Let's go with that. I don't know if I mentioned Cameron Schmidt and Jake O'Brien, but I've been informed by the rest of the BSH Slack. I think it was specifically Kelly Hinkle said the Flyers are no longer allowed to draft people with the first initial J and the last name O'Brien.
Yeah. Yeah, those that they used their only opportunity to do that. They're no longer allowed. That is against the rules. One player that kind of stands out to me, and I'm not saying that the Flyers should draft this person, but if something absolutely nuts were to happen and they were reach way too far or somehow fall down the draft rankings or the draft list and they end up picking in the like 12 or something like that. One player that stands out is going to be Radim Murtka. I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Let's go with it.
Massive dude. Like
holy shit, 6'5".
He's according to Elite Prospects, he's 6'6". Large, gigantic defenseman. And he has some pretty solid production in the WHL. He has 35 points in 43 games. Not bad for a defenseman.
Right shot defenseman who's got size.
Yeah.
What does that sound like a replacement for?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a guy that I could see the Flyers, if they were picking like a little bit later, being like, oh my God. Or even better yet, if he falls to one of those 20 picks, assuming the Flyers have those picks, and they don't trade them away, I could see them looking at him and thinking, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that we've had since Pronger.
Oh,
now they also do the same thing about Sam Morin, so
which we knew, the smart people knew that was blatantly just false from the beginning. But
RIPD to Sam Morin, by the way.
Seemed like a super nice guy, but we all the real ones knew that he was never the next Pronger, and I always felt bad that he got labeled with that. But yeah, Murka's a big boy. I think Jonesy would be all about that.
Real quick, one of the things I miss about Sam Morin, he was so good at fighting. Like I remember, like Ross Johnston is like known as one of the best fighters in the NHL. He's like a big dude. Sam Morin beat the shit out of him. Like he beat the fuck out. It was amazing. I'll never forget that. That's the highlight to me of Sam Morin's career, which is really depressing. But
I wish he had been able to work out as like a third pair guy, because I think he would have been like a legendary like third pair guy here for just like being big and beating the shit out of people.
Yeah. Oh, they would have loved it. They would have absolutely loved it.
That is some top-notch Flyers fan shit right there. But yeah, so we just wanted to give you I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of the draft coverage that is to come, because we are going to be focusing in on that since it is a big deal. The Flyers are not making the playoffs. Do not think about it. Do not even consider it, even though Jim Jackson will mention it every broadcast.
Not eliminated yet, Steve.
It's coming any day now. I can't wait. I don't want to live a lie, and I can't. Don't make me hope. I refuse to hope.
I just can't wait for them to sneak in.
If they sneak in,
they would.
Okay. Let's I think we need to do something similar to Ophilpula. So, for background, for new Flypaniacs or whatever, many years ago, 2018 at this point, has it been that long? The last time the Flyers played a home playoff game, to put that in perspective, the Flyers had Valtteri Filppula on the team, and I was adamant that not only did Filppula suck, but the Flyers would not beat the Penguins in that series. And I said on this podcast that if the Flyers come back and win that series, and Filppula is a significant part of it, that I would buy a St. Patrick's Day Irish O'Filppula jersey. And Filppula basically single-handedly won them a game in that series. And I was sweating it for a couple days. Like, I thought I was going to have to buy that jersey. And then I want to say thankfully, but like, I really would have loved to have seen them beat the Penguins in that series. But they got whooped in that last game. Sean Couturier basically died. And I did not have to buy the O'Filppula jersey. But let's how we make this interesting if the Flyers make the playoffs? What should I have to do, Quigs? What do you think?
If the Flyers make the playoffs this year,
Because I don't think it's going to happen, and I'm pretty adamant about it.
I mean, first thing that comes to mind is buying a Ivan Fedotov jersey.
Okay.
That's like the
All
first
right.
thing that comes to mind. So
Fedotov.
I would say
right.
Fedotov. Yeah, I would say Fedotov.
Right. I'll tell you. I'll hold myself to that.
Didn't Kelly lose a bet with you and had to buy like a Tony D'Angelo jersey?
It wasn't me. It was Charlie, I think.
Was it Charlie? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I know that happened.
Yeah.
I know that she owns a Tony D'Angelo jersey.
I think it was over like who would record a point first between like Justin Braun and Rasmus Ristolainen.
Right. Yeah.
Or like a goal first between the two of them. I think it was.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't doing that. But the Fedotov, and I got I got problems with Fetty, but that would make a very interesting part of the collection if that happened. So yeah, you know what? If your Philadelphia Flyers inexplicably make the playoffs this year, your boy here will buy an Ivan Fedotov jersey.
There you go. All right. I think get ready, Steve, because get your wallet ready because baby, it's coming. The comeback is on.
I'm very prepared to not have to do this. Let's make it interesting on your part. It won't be financial. I will pick a karaoke song for you to sing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm gonna pick. I don't know what it is yet, but
whatever song you want, I'll sing it.
That's what the bet is. So when they don't make it, I'm gonna come up with a good song. But
awesome,
a good time will be had by all.
I'm ready for it.
Yes,
I will let you do that regardless. So.
Well, you know what I'm ready for? I'm ready for this one topic of conversation we did not get to last week because we talked the entire show about John Tortorella and a little bit about prospects, right? But there's one topic, one news article that came up last week that I need to talk about on this program, and that's involving the son of a former Flyer, Jakob Chychrun, who now plays for the Washington Capitals, and he apparently doesn't want light bulbs in his house.
I mean, who does, Steve? I mean, we don't need to be seeing.
Yeah.
What do we have to see? There's nothing to see.
We just need to be walking around like Ebenezer Scrooge with a candle on one of those little holder things going like, I gotta take a pee. Where's the bathroom?
That is all we need. Like, if you want to live, I know, what's really in right now in this day and age? Minimalism. Minimalist lifestyle. Listen, if you want to truly be minimalist, get rid of the light. You don't need the lights. You really don't.
Lights.
Yeah, it's
light
bad
back there. Like, who needs that?
Bad for the environment.
Ring light right here, and who needs that?
Candles. What are we doing? So
why don't we do this podcast by candlelight more often? That's what I'm always asking.
Get the mood going.
Get the mood going.
We
got to be in the mood.
Yeah.
And we got Fred Durst over here. We got Guy Fieri over here. We got Gritty up there. We're all in the mood. You know?
But I think Chychrun is onto something. I really do.
I thought this was so bonkers, especially because like he plays hockey in an arena. Dude, there's light bulbs everywhere.
Right.
But also, It's 2025, my guy. How are you living in your house? Are you like lighting candles in every room? Is you're just like are you just constantly got like the long lighter with the long stem, right? And you're just like every night.
Maybe he's got like one of those gas lamps. Like,
Ooh, I like the gas lamp. Like, hey,
yeah,
who goes there?
yeah, exactly.
Like he's like he mans a lighthouse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it is, you know? Like I maybe that's what's going on. I don't know.
Maybe he lights a torch at the front door, like Indiana Jones style. He's like, yes, when he has guests come over, he's like, yes, if you grab that stick with oily rags at the end and just put it into the giant fire I am constantly keeping going at all hours of day, you may come in and navigate my house.
You know what I've always loved, even now still? I fucking love a good tiki torch. Like tiki
torch is
torches
fun.
are the bomb. Like they're
That's your
so
that's
sick.
your light bulbless house is all tiki
Tiki
torches.
torches everywhere, dude. As far
Well,
as
you're not going to have mosquitoes.
no, they would be gone. It would be
They'd
great.
gone.
Like I would love just all my light sources just being tiki torches. How sick would that be?
Be pretty sick, bro. Pretty sick.
I would love it.
I want to know the first thing we all thought of in the BSH Slack when we heard about this Chychrun story was Chuck McGill from one of our favorite shows, Better Call Saul. For those of you not familiar, I will be spoiling Better Call Saul, which ended many years ago. You can actually listen to a whole podcast breakdown from us.
Not a huge spoiler. I don't think it's a huge spoiler.
No, it's not. But anyway, this is Better Call Saul's been out for years, so who gives a shit? But his brother, Saul Goodman's brother, or rather Jimmy McGill's brother, Chuck, has a strange affliction where he believes that he is allergic to electricity. So he lives in a house that is not wired, or it's wired, but like he doesn't run the electricity in the house, and he keeps all of his like groceries and everything into a cooler. So Chuck's or Jimmy's got to bring him over like ice and everything every day, and like fresh food and everything. So yeah, he's basically going around with that lantern, right?
And he's wearing the space blanket, the little the I like, and that's the funny thing is I'm just imagining like, after games, Jakob Chychrun is like sprinting into the locker room shivering, not because the ice is cold, but because like he's like being beaten to death by electricity. And then he just immediately goes in the locker room and puts on a space blanket. And
he puts on the space. He actually, that's what he does between periods. But at the end of the game, he runs to his car, drives home as quickly as he can with his skates on, dives into his house.
Yeah, that's exactly. And then, he has to ground himself first. Remember, you got to go up to the little thing outside the mailbox.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And then you got to ground yourself first. So
you got to watch out for that electricity, folks. It is a killer.
Man. Yeah. And
Chychrun, man, Chychrun definitely drinks raw milk, right?
Careful with the gas lamps in your house. What was that, Steve?
Chychrun definitely drinks raw milk, right? Like he has to.
Oh yeah. I mean, raw eggs, raw milk. I mean, steak, he's not even cooking it. He's just fucking like he's taking like he's just like digging his fingers into it and just like picking out chunks and
beautiful
eating it. He's a madman.
He is a madman. Absolute madman.
Like, doesn't he eat the hearts of like baby sheep? Like he does crazy shit. Like raw.
I think so. Yeah.
He's out of control.
We got to stop this Jakob Chychrun. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, Jakob Chychrun. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. That came up last week, and then one other story. Take a sip, real quick. One other story I wanted to mention, and we can head on out of here. But a friend of the show, Kurt Overhart, the agent to the stars. Kurt Overhart, to remind you who he is, because you very easily could have forgotten who this guy is, but he's the agent for one Cutter Gauthier, Z Buyam, and there's somebody else significant, but who gives a shit? Cutter Gauthier is the big one, right? So Overhart's agency, which is called KO Sports, which is cheesy as shit, was acquired by Wasserman. So Overhart, I guess, is not in the day-to-day negotiations and shit anymore, which is a real shame. It's real tragic. But Clearly he hates the Flyers because the Flyers did not draft Booyum. They actually traded out of the position to draft him because they just were not interested at all in Zeev Booyum. And it wasn't just because his name was Zeev, but the rumor is because Overhart representative. And also, I don't know, there's a reason Zeev Booyum fell to that point in the draft in the first place. Who knows? Very talented hockey player. He fell. Agent seems like a jerk, but clearly Kurt Overhart hates the Flyers. So I've come up with a little top 5 list, Letterman style. Top 5 reasons that Kurt Overhart hates the Flyers. Number 5, he was guffawed in an insulting fashion by Brian Propp. Nobody likes to be guffawed. Nobody.
I can see that.
Number 4, Bernie Perrant stole his girl.
Oh, well, I mean, Bernie Perrant, I mean, he's a chick magnet. So
he's a chick magnet. Everybody, the ladies love Bernie Perrant. It's true.
Yeah.
Number 3, severe fear of gritty, or as psychologists call it, gritty phobia.
There's actually a lot of people who I think are horrified of gritty.
Oh, yes, there are. Yes, there are. As many people that are horrified of gritty as they are of our friend the rat.
I think the gritty fear is probably the most reasonable thing on this list, honestly.
I think so. Number 2, publicly slapped by Bobby Clark. We could all see it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Bobby Clark has probably slapped many men in the face. Like,
oh, dude, yeah.
Slap.
Yeah, especially back in the day, he was slapping guys left and right.
Number 1 reason that Kurt Overhart hates the Flyers, he's secretly a Flyers fan because nobody hates the Flyers more than a Flyers fan.
What? Yeah, no, I was gonna say, what about, like,
nobody hates the Flyers more
than
a Flyers fan. Yeah.
So that would make sense as well.
That would be right. All right, folks. That's it. That's all there is. We are going to head on out of here. Thank you so much for listening or watching. What does Ryan Quigley have for us before we
Real quick, we have breaking news.
Ooh.
Alex Ovechkin is 4 goals away.
Oh, 4 goals for Ovi. What a time to be alive. I think he's going to do it. They play their last game of the season in Pittsburgh against the Penguins.
Steve, I need it.
I need him
to, honestly, not even to get in Crosby's face. I just want him to do it in front of I think I hate Malkin more than Ovechkin than
I know you do. You hate Malkin and Letang.
I don't even care about. I don't think about Crosby. I just respect Crosby. Letang and Malkin. I hate them both. I hate them so much. Like, they are my least. I cannot deal with them. So yeah, I just really despise them, and I wish nothing but the
worst.
I wish nothing but the worst regards for them. I truly do.
Yeah, I do enjoy that about you, that you hate Christopher Letang so much.
I hate his guts. His face, I just want to fucking
Ovechkin getting very close. It really is just a phenomenal thing to see, especially in the modern NHL with goaltenders having the equipment and the talent that they have compared to the guys just making pathetic kick saves with very thin pads back in the 80s.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know what to say. Fuck the Penguins. God damn it. Like, go Ovechkin, do it against the Penguins. That's what we need. That's what I want to see. It would be
if he gets the 3 away, hold off until that last game and do it. And then right again, because they were rivals for the longest time, the Penguins and Caps.
Oh, well, they're still rivals.
Yeah. But it used to be the NHL rival.
Like them going at it. Yeah. So
yeah. But all right. Well, Ovi is on the verge of history. So exciting. And maybe by the time we talk next week, he'll have clinched it. We'll see.
Maybe.
Likely back early next week. We'll see how Tuesday's looking, but probably a Tuesday. I think they play Wednesday next week. So it'll be either Tuesday or Thursday recording, but I'm aiming for Tuesday, but we will see, folks. But if you want any updates on that, go follow us over on social media. You can find me on Blue Sky. I'm at Flyperbole or at Esteban. It's also Flyperbole on Instagram and TikTok. So follow the account there. Quigs, where can people find you on Blue Sky?
Ryan Quigs with a Z. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. How about that? All right. Follow Broad Street Hockey, BSH. Hey, if you're enjoying this tangy tent, be sure to subscribe like the videos, all that stuff. We built up the YouTube base significantly lately, and it's awesome. And thank you for the support on that. Hey, rate and review wherever you can. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 3 Men in a Podcast, Audio Trough, whatever the hell you listen on. Check us out, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Folks, you're all beautiful people. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, in the words of the great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.